This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We promise you won't regret it. As we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda, we expose the satanic Illuminati symbols, and we expose the things that they're doing to all of us, including our children and everybody who's a citizen of the United States of America and a citizen of any country worldwide, because it is a one world government they are trying to form, and all of these governments are in on it. Today's show, I want to talk about something that I found very interesting and very sickening, and it really got me angry. And that's in regards to an article that was released stating that this specific disease has increased 4 times over. It has quadrupled over the last 3 decades, and that is diabetes. What a coincidence. In 1980, 108 million people were reported to have diabetes. Today, it's closer to 425 million people that reportedly have diabetes. And this article that I read is just more propaganda. As they point this out, they say, diabetes kills over 1.5 million people a year. High blood glucose kills about 2.2 million per year. And they don't say why necessarily. They try to kind of beat around the bush and they say, well, why is it on the rise? Well, it's on the rise because of a lack of exercise and people are getting overweight. So the sheep read this stuff and they go, oh man, we need to exercise more or we're eating too much. They don't point out the fact that it is quadrupled over 3 decades because of the ingredients in the foods and how they constantly change, and nobody reads an ingredient label anymore. We're allowing them to stuff our food with chemicals. We are allowing them to stuff our food with high fructose corn syrup, which causes diabetes and other diseases to us all. Then they tell us that there's healthy foods. They go out and they say, why don't you have Wheaties? Oh, they have their false idols on TV. Their athletes saying, I better eat my Wheaties in the 1980s, 1990s, the 2000s. Better eat my Wheaties. Oh, it must be healthy. Then mom goes and buys the Wheaties. Look on the Wheaties label. Oh, it has vitamin C. The mom will say, that looks good. Oh, right there, hidden in between. High fructose corn syrup. Oh, no big deal, right? Oh, you also got trisodium phosphate. That sounds healthy to eat, right? Trisodium phosphate, newsflash, if you can't pronounce it or you don't know what it is, you shouldn't put it in your body. The problem is everybody trusts the government, everybody trusts the scum that is the FDA that regulates this, and they allow them to put stuff in their foods. Why do they allow it? Because they don't look at the labels and question anything. They go, why would they poison us? Why would they do anything to us? Then when you look into Satanism, the Illuminati, the synagogue of Satan, and you see that, well, they like to sacrifice human beings. Well, they're trying to form a one world government. Well, they want the population under 500 million. Well, look at this right here in fine print, right in the article. They make $827 billion a year in patient care and in medicine. Let me repeat that. $827 billion a year treating, or I should say, just giving people medicine so that they don't get healthy but stay sick, but they monitor it, keep them at a level, keep their body level without ever healing so they continue to be dependent on the medicine. $827 billion a year in medicine and patient care for diabetes. Then you look at the food label, you see phosphate. You see, what are these things? Things that sound like they belong in a chemistry classroom. Things you can't pronounce. Also, everything, high fructose corn syrup, one of the top reasons that people get diabetes. But then they go on to tell you, you should exercise more and watch your weight. How about we stop eating all of this stuff? Oh, here's another thing you should point out. How about 150 years ago? In the Little House on the Prairie days. That's what I like to reference the 150 years ago as, the Little House on the Prairie days. Because if you've never seen it or heard of it, put it on and see what it was like life was like back then. Because it wasn't that long ago that people were going where they wanted, building their own homes, farming their own foods. Nobody was getting diabetes 150 years ago. It's a new disease. It came out when everybody started becoming dependent on the government for food. When everybody stopped farming for themselves, instead they went and got a desk job as work in the 1950s and 60s, in that era where everybody stopped doing that. And instead they allowed our government to feed us. And what are they feeding us with? Chemicals. phosphate, aluminum, all of this stuff crammed inside of our cereal boxes, in our soups, overload of sodium, overload of high fructose corn syrup, and these morons like CNN, these absolute scum, okay, these controlled media outlets like CNN or MSNBC or anybody that people gets their news from, they feed this information back to you, and then they give you a reverse. They point you in the opposite direction. Instead of going, look at the food labels. Look at how all these ingredients have changed. Look at a food label from 1950 compared to 2016. And look at all the extra chemicals that are included, such as high fructose corn syrup, such as all of these preservatives. And people look at it, they go, what is that? Well, I don't know what that is, but I mean, it must be safe to eat because, you know, it's in the grocery store, so it's safe. And people eat it and they get sick and they do nothing about it. It keeps them in a duller state of sleep, a constant tiredness, fatigue, getting sick from all these chemicals and all this crap. And we're all victims of it. It's like I said in the other video I did. We are lab rats. We are their lab rats. They make $827 billion annually. You think they want to cure this? You think they want to cure it at all? Of course they don't. They do nothing about it. They don't point out the food ingredients to people. All they do is say, you can't grow your own food now. You have to go to the grocery. Or they make sure you don't have enough hours in your week to grow your own food. Because we're dependent on their dollar, unfortunately. That's the system that we've all been pushed into. We're all enslaved in this system because our ancestors allowed this to happen. And now we're here, stuck in it, in the end times. Forced to eat these foods because we can't grow anything, because we don't have enough hours in the day to do anything other than be their slaves at work, sitting at a desk doing nothing. So 108 million in 1980, less than 30 years later, 425 million people have diabetes. And nobody is saying, well, why has that happened? Oh, did the air magically change that all of a sudden people are getting diabetes? Well, yes, I guess technically the air did change in 1975 when they started dumping chemtrails on us. However, how about you just look at the food labels and say, well, what's changed since 1980 till now? Let me see. Look at the food labels. Why does everything have this in it and that in it? Why are they dumping it in there? Oh, I don't think, no, but I got to get back to work. Sorry. I don't want to talk about that stuff. It's too frustrating, you know? That's the reaction of the sheep in a situation like this. That is why people are sick and suffering, because the FDA and our government is allowing all of this crap to get dumped into our food because they deliberately want to poison us. Yes, they do. People go, no, why would our government want to poison us? You're ridiculous. Well, even if you don't believe in Satanism and all of this stuff that's really going on, even if you're asleep to that, they make $827 billion a year off of this one disease. Billion, not million. Billion, as in bumblebee. $1 billion. You think they're looking to cure it? Just like I said in my video about cancer. You think they're looking to cure it? Of course they're not. But the sheep continue to go to the cancer parades and do their cancer marathons thinking that they're helping a cause when they're not. Just like this situation. Nobody's doing anything about it. They have diabetes awareness and all of this stuff. We're all aware that it exists. How about we run to the FDA offices and smash the door down and say, get this crap out of our food, or we're going to start farming all of our own stuff and let's see you stop us. But they will, of course. They'll threaten people. They'll bring out more fear, because that's how they control people, by the mind, by fear. And they poison us, and we enable them to poison us because we have no choice but to eat this crap. We have no choice, and we could say, well, I'll just get vegetables at the grocery and I won't get anything in a box. All right, but you still know that those vegetables and those fruits, even if they claim to be organic, you know they're still covered in preservatives. They won't allow it any other way. Or they're GMO. They're not even real bananas. We are allowing them to do this. We have enabled them to get to this point. Sadly, our ancestors have. You know, our great-great-grandparents or our great-grandparents or whatever generation you are. The last 100 years, we've allowed this to happen. This is why we are where we are. This is why people are so sick. People are dying. Everybody's got a disease. Everybody's on medication and dependent on medication because of them. The world's been around for a long time. A long time. Was medicine been around for a long time? Yeah, there's natural things, right? People have gotten sick, of course. Are people having acid reflux or diabetes or thyroid issues and all of these things that just constantly pop up because of what they're feeding us and what they're dumping on us from the skies? So diabetes has quadrupled, but nobody's going, why is it quadrupled? Oh, wait, they're telling us why it's quadruple. Because we're not getting enough exercise. Well, we got to get back to the gym then. The fuel for your body is food. When you put chemicals in your body, it makes you sick. That's what they're doing. High fructose corn syrup in all of these foods, causing diabetes, along with many other chemicals. But on the TV, they go, get your Wheaties, kids, because your favorite false idol eats it, and it's going to make you big and strong like an ox. And then the parents go, all right, get the kid Wheaties. Get him to shut up. Get him Wheaties. It's healthy. It's healthy. And they don't even know what's in the label. Like, yeah, it's healthy. They tell it on TV. It's healthy. Oh, wait, high fructose corn syrup? Wait, what's this other ingredient here? Huh? What is that? Trisodium phosphate? Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's probably healthy. If it's something with phosphate or trisodium or something you've never heard of that sounds like a chemical, it's not healthy. You shouldn't be eating it. We've got to do a better job of regulating our bodies, what we're putting in it, keeping ourselves healthy. I mean, we know that they're killing us off here. We know, but we're enabling it. And really, because the masses are asleep, and there's people like us who are awake, who are trying to get people alert to this stuff. You know, people don't want to listen to you about Satanism and the occult, and that's too much for their brain to grasp. You can start somewhere like this with food, because it could still pull their mind back, and they go, yeah, why is the food label different in Wheaties from 1950 to today? Why have they added trisodium phosphate and high fructose corn syrup? Maybe they'll start investigating it. Maybe they'll say, well, wait a minute, why is our government poisoning us with this stuff? And maybe they'll say, well, maybe it's because they're trying to make all this money. Okay, even though we know it's bigger than that, us who are awake, we know it's bigger than that. We know that Satanism is behind all of this stuff. But still, that's a gateway for them to start waking up. They could say, wait, 827 billion. Okay, let me dig further. Wait a minute. Boom. That's how an awakening can happen. So it can happen from all of these different things. Whether you show somebody these symbols, whether you show somebody these mysterious CIA operations like MK Ultra or Operation Paperclip, or if you just take something as simple as food and show them how they won't even allow us to farm our own food without using their Monsanto dirt because they don't want us getting proper nutrients, because they want us to be sick, not just because they want to make money off of it, because they want us dead. Depopulation. They mention it over and over. There's so many ways you can wake people up. It's really endless, the amounts of ways, because every single thing in our reality, which isn't a real reality, is controlled. They control all of it. They make us sick. They make us dependent on them. They make us dependent on money. Thus, they make us slaves to their system, and they control us and do what they want to us. And the only truth in life and the only saving grace is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. Thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you. Stay healthy. Watch what you put into your bodies. Peace be with you.